And I'll never forget the first samples I got. I forgot that it was coming, and I'm in Charleston, 95% humidity, and I had a box exploding in the front of my house because I knocked on the door and said, hey, if you guys are ever thinking about selling, I got a call that night. We had a line out the door and around the building all day. I sold out by like 4 o'clock. So there's a trick that I learned from being in the pizza industry and learning from master chefs and whatnot. There's a way that you could take your frozen dough, thaw it out within 2 hours.
Hi, I'm Jim from the Orioles Foods. I'm here with Mike Pitera from Pizza Moto Mio. Mike took the liberty of coming to visit us this week on Pizza Day here in February, upstate Utica, New York. It's about minus 15 degrees out.
Yeah.
And so he brings his big boy jacket today to come and see me, and I really appreciate that. Appreciate you having here. We got together because we just wanted to make some new pies and some new ideas and get ready for the upcoming Pizza Expo and beyond.
Yes.
Mike, your story was a fantastic story when I heard it over the last, we've been working together probably a year and a half or so.
Yeah, about 2 years
some projects,
now. Actually, we were probably a little bit longer, believe it or not. We're going on 3 years almost.
Yeah, so where I got to know you at one of the trade shows, I think it was down in Florida.
That's right.
And like, this guy's great. Let's work more with this guy. And as we work more with you and you work more with us, it just kind of really bonded, as far as customer and supplier relationship. So I just wanted to kind of, hey, we got a few minutes here today. Let's talk about it and share it with the rest of the world.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
It's a great story. So you're a Brooklyn boy?
Gravesend, Bensonhurst, and I moved to Long Island when I was about 15 years old. And from there, I grew up in a household that everyone loved to cook. Mm-hmm. My mother, my father, everyone cooked in the house. So I was always around the kitchen, always learning how to use a knife. My family showed me how to use a wooden spoon, whether I got hit from behind
one way or another,
or to stir the sauce. And, that's just the lifestyle that I lived with my family, how I grew up. And from that, a lot of my friends growing up, their fathers or, their uncles, they owned either a restaurant or a pizzeria. And my first job was working in a pizzeria. My friend's father grabbed all of his son's friends, cheap labor. We were all washing dishes and mopping and sweeping and all that. And I fell in love with pizza since then. I just cooking in the back with the old man or, having to wash dishes on a Friday night and gradually worked my way up to becoming a pizza maker. And from that point on, I always had pizza in my life.
Now, do you go back to the neighborhood the old neighborhood once in
a while?
Yeah,
when I go back to New York, I'll go back. I still have cousins and uncles and close cousins that are there. It's changed a lot. So the neighborhood that I grew up in, it's a lot different now. But there's still some classic pizzerias and restaurants that I've gone to, like Joseph Avenue. You go there for the rice bowls or the pillow sandwich, or you go to L&B Spumoni Gardens for the upside down pizza, and Pizza Wagon for your New York crust. So certain places I grew up with, I'll go there and eat, and it'll take me back in time. But to be quite honest with you, ever since moving down to South Carolina, I want to get away from all this coldness and all this stuff that's happening here. So when I do go up, I do visit,
So how many years ago did you go from New York down to Carolina?
So, I moved down to South Carolina 5 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, 5 years. It was right after COVID. After everything that's happened up here and the lockdown kind of went away. Me and my girlfriend at the time, who's my wife now, just said, you know what, let's get out of here, start new. My parents already moved down. My immediate family moved down. I was the only one up there. So I said, you know what, it's a good time to reinvent yourself and to go with some warmer living. And we took the plunge down to Charleston.
Now, did you know at that time you wanted to get into pizza, or were you looking just in food service in general, or what? Was it specific to pizza you were going down there for, or you just kind of by accident?
It's funny that you say that. I was always in pizza. I was always cooking. I was always doing something. Even when I went to school up here at SUNY Cortland.
Okay.
I was always cooking and doing something here. With my fraternity brothers, I was one to cook. After college, I was cooking. But I graduated with a business management degree, and I was selling copiers right out of college.
Okay.
2008, during that crash, I got a job at a business called Car Business Systems. It was a Xerox company.
Okay.
And I was knocking on doors, selling copiers. And I did that up until I moved to South Carolina.
Okay.
I went from becoming a sales agent to a regional sales manager, all the way to a VP of sales. And I was working on 7th Avenue, Manhattan.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Right down from Madison Square Garden. I was a suit and tie every day, standing on that subway platform when it was like 2 degrees out, and trucking in and out of work. And when I moved down to Charleston, I got a business management sales job. So I stayed in the sales industry. And then when I went down there, there was no pizza. There was no New York style pizza. Up here in New York, you sell by the slice. You have strombolis and garlic knots. That didn't exist down there. Everything was Neapolitan restaurant, personal pies. There were no bagels. There was nothing up there that I missed from New York. So a little side hustle. My father and I, we built a 8 by 16 foot trailer. And when I was done with my sales job, I hooked up my trailer to my truck and I drove to the different neighborhoods and did dinner service and made pizza for the neighborhoods making pizza. Catering. And well, down there, all the neighborhoods, they're community neighborhoods where you have a community center where there's a pool and a playground and it's an HOA and everything's all included. So what they do is, especially right after COVID, it was very big to have a food truck come to your neighborhood so you didn't have to leave.
Right.
And they sent a text message out, hey, don't cook tonight. We have a pasta truck here, a pizza truck here, a burger truck here. And I was that pizza truck. And it was me and my girlfriend. As soon as I was done with work, I get out of my suit. I put on, some shorts and a T-shirt and my apron, hooked the truck, and then we went and did a neighborhood. And we would do, at first we do probably 30 covers, 40 covers. And I didn't have anywhere to make the dough. And that's how I found you guys, by speaking to a representative that used to work here. And I was dialing the phone every night trying to find, where can I get dough? I don't have a kitchen here. I don't have the mixer here. I need dough for my food truck. And then I called you guys and got someone random in the office. And then they directed me to Patty. No, Patty. Pat, yes, to Pat.
Yeah.
And as soon as I spoke to Pat,
just take right over.
That's it. She took over the conversation.
Do.
That's it. As soon as I talked to Pat, she was telling me what to do.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I really like this because, she almost had that New York punch to her, and she knew what I wanted. And I was talking to her and she sent me samples. I'll never forget the first samples I got. I forgot that it was coming and I'm in Charleston, 95% humidity. And I had a box exploding in the front of my house because I didn't put it in the refrigerator. So I had all this blown up dough. It was just like the marshmallow puff, man. It was just blown up. So I had to toss it. Right away, she sent me a new batch, kept it frozen, and I started using it. I was like, wow, this is great. I said, what if I was able to get dough and to start, with the food truck? And that's where the relationship started, was once I found out that dough was reliable and it was great for my atmosphere at the time. Because I didn't have staff. It was me and my wife in an apartment, no kitchen, commercial kitchen. And that's how I found out about you guys. And then one thing led to another. I was doing more and more neighborhoods, and I did the food truck for a year. And then everyone from up north was moving down south. And they were asking, where's your brick and mortar? We want to come and get a slice of pizza. And we didn't have one.
Right.
So a year later, my wife and I bought a house in West Ashley. And there was a soup and salad restaurant that wasn't really doing very well at the time. It's 95 degrees. Who wants hot soup? And I just knocked on their door and said, hey, if you guys are ever thinking about selling or looking to move on, let me know. I'm contemplating on, open up a brick and mortar. I know it's a big gamble, but they said, all right. I got a call that night. And then when I got a call that night, they said, all right, we want to sell. I had to put my big boy pants on.
Yeah.
I quit my daytime job, and I've never, ever had to rely on anybody else in terms of having a paycheck come in until that point. I was getting benefits. I was getting a paycheck every week. I was getting paid well. I was comfortable.
It's a double-edged sword.
Yep. And I took the plunge, and I quit my job, and we got this brick and mortar, and now we're on 4 locations. Oh. And a lot of that's because of you guys.
I appreciate that.
Seriously.
It's because of you, what you're doing with it. It's amazing.
But the quality that you guys have and the staff at the time, what I wasn't able to do would have never happened if I haven't met Patty.
Yeah.
Didn't have that access to me. And
now that time you received that dough that first time, or maybe the second time, the first time flew up. Was that the first time you had ever used frozen dough? And she just kind of told you how to handle it differently than scratch?
Yes.
Were you when did you become a believer? It's like, wait a minute, this could actually work. Was like the first time you used it, or did you have to use it a few times? Was there a lot of training behind it and to kind of get acclimated to it? Or?
Yeah, so I never used frozen dough because we always made dough.
Sure.
So, when you make a fresh dough, you let it sit, you let it ferment, you put it in the cooler, let it rise. There's all these processes. I had this Pocky Puck that was solid. I'm like, what am I going to do with this? Is it going to thaw out? Is it going to dry out? Is it not going to proof? My biggest fear was it not proofing because I never dealt with a frozen dough like that where I had to wait for it to proof. I thought maybe everything was just dead in it. So I was like, all right, let me see. It took me probably, I would say, 3 pizzas to realize that this was going to work. And it was just a process of elimination because obviously, depending on the climate that you're in, will depend on how you thaw out your
time
dough
of year and
and
everything.
and let it rest and proof and all that. So what I first did was when I got it, it was becoming towards the cooler months. I let it sit in my trays overnight, not even in a cooler. I let it slowly thaw out and then put it in my cooler. I saw how that worked and I was like, all right, it works pretty well. And then I was able to get some, move some stuff in my residential fridge, and I put the dough in there and I let it sit there for 2 to 3 days and let it naturally thaw out and then ferment and then rise. And I noticed that it was very easy to use because everything was done and I had to figure out what I was going to do in my climate. But once I was in the climate that I was in and I knew how it needed to be thawed out, it was great. Yeah. I took it out of the fridge, let it room temp, and I was pressing out pizzas.
How long from the dough truck to your first thoughts of the brick and mortar? Like, were you doing the truck for a year or two, or it sounds like, I mean,
a year.
That's what I'm saying. It's pretty quick.
Yeah.
That you evolved into the brick and mortar.
Just under a year.
So now when you said, okay, I think I'm going to open my own place and move from this, was there any hesitation by that time? Because it wasn't a long time of using frozen dough or saying, hey, if I'm going brick and mortar, do I go scratch at this point?
Right.
What were your thoughts on that time? Is that something you considered? Or
yes. Yeah. So let's be real, right? It's always cheaper to make your own dough, right? A bag of flour is $40, $30. You can make your own dough. That's not the problem. The problem is having experience and people that know how to make the dough, consistency on how to make the dough, know how to change the temperatures when I have to add cold water when you're making the dough in hot climates. These days aren't what they used to be. When I first started in pizzeria when I was 15 years old and the old men were in the Mac, where they knew, okay, it's going to be 85 degrees today. This is what we have to do. Sure. Oh, the yeast is not alive anymore. It's dead. We got to change it out. Those concepts, and I want to say the simplicity of making dough is gone with these kids these days, unfortunately. And it's very hard to find someone to come in and be able to make it and be consistent with it. So, yes, did I want to make my own dough like I always wanted to? Of course I did. But if I can use this dough that's been working great, that's up here coming from New York, using New York water, using a non-bromate, non-bleach product, using a good quality product, why not have it made where I can have it come down and shipped and be able to proof it myself and know that the consistency is always going to be there when I'm hiring these high school kids. You can't teach common sense. And unfortunately, some of these kids don't have common sense anymore. So you can show it, you can write it as much as you want. They're not going to follow instructions. So if I can have a great product, a great dough, and have a simple task of them opening the bag, put it in the pizza tray, and roll it in the walk-in, you're less to have a faulty product and more to have a more consistent product. So when I was opening up the brick and mortar, I said, you know what, I want to try to be as simplified as possible because I want to grow. I want to do things here. I want to have more locations. I want to be able to have the product. If I'm not here or I can't always be here, I want to be the same at every time. So I said, why change something that's not broken? And it's been working for me on the truck. Now let's up our dough ball size. We was doing a 10-ounce dough ball, and we went all the way up to a 20-ounce dough ball because now I'm making bigger pizzas. And it's been working great. So the consistency was the big thing. And the learning curve was a big thing, especially hiring new people and people who have never been in the pizza industry before.
So, I mean, having the food truck, you didn't have much choice because you had nowhere to make the dough. So it was almost like you needed to have that.
Right.
Moving from the truck to brick and mortar, actually you had choices. And at that point, you took the risk and you decided, hey, I'm going to continue with what was working for me at the food truck level, even though it was brick and mortar. And you had the opportunity to go into different directions. And now I think you're into, was it 4 locations? 3 locations are forthcoming?
We have 3 brick and mortars and our 4th location's in a concert venue. So we have 3 of our freestanding buildings and our 4th one is inside of an outdoor concert venue.
And how much nicer was it, or how much more confidence do you have? Like there had to be, like, there had to be a confidence level when you started doing the truck. It's like, okay, I'm taking a chance here.
Right.
And then moving from truck to brick and mortar, there's a jump.
Right.
And it's like, okay, so there's sort of a risk factor. It's like, okay, is this going to work or not with the dough product? But now that you're getting to 3 or 4, maybe even more someday.
Yes.
See how that goes. Now, how much easier now? It's like, okay, I know I'm getting the same dough at 4 locations. I don't need 4 different guys making or women making the dough from scratch. I can actually go up to New York when it's minus 18 degrees, leave the pizzeria alone. It's still open,
That's
and
right.
I'm confident that the product they're using or they're serving to your customers is the same product if you were standing right by them versus if you're away someplace else. So,
Right.
and it's 4 different locations. So now I think, it really turns into your favor, because now you can get that consistency from location to location, which I think is the biggest step of all. Is not just making a good dough, because you can make a heck of a dough. I know you can from scratch. What you're using makes a heck of a dough. But now when you get to 3, 4, 5 locations or more, or you start to spread out, now that becomes even another challenge for you.
Yes.
How do you get other people to do that?
Yes.
So how do you feel about that consistency and the confidence you have in the product now versus then?
So to be quite honest with you, if I wasn't getting the dough that I'm getting from you guys, I don't know if I would expand as much as I did because of that reason. You have to have processes in place to be able to grow. Consistency needs to be in place in terms to grow. And dough making is just, it's not difficult if you've been around it. It's not difficult to teach it, but it's difficult for some people to concept it and understand it and do it. And for me to be able to open up 2, 3, 4, 5 locations, I don't have to worry about the consistency of the dough. And it just speeds up my process of growing the business, because the sauce is super easy to make. The cheese already comes in. And those are the 3 main things that you need for pizza, right? Cheese, sauce, and dough. So one thing, which is usually the most difficult one, is the dough making. That's already done. That's scratched off the list. So now my confidence level is so much higher, because it's one less stress level that I need to worry about when opening up a store, where I don't have to worry about somebody breaking the dough hook, or breaking the machine, or putting sugar in instead of salt because they didn't taste it, and forgetting to put oil in or put the wrong water in. And I mean, you're talking about 50 pounds of flour in a bag going in. Say they screw that up, now you're out of product. Not only that, what happens if somebody forgets to put the yeast in? Now it's just a flat dough with nothing in it. So a lot of things can happen, and you don't have time for that. You don't have time to make a quick dough like that and have it like the way that you want it. So then I had to close business because of it. So to me, being able to have the dough and have it the recipe that we wanted and the style that we wanted to use it with was game changer for me.
One less thing out of the way for you.
Yeah.
And everything else you're trying to manage.
Yes.
Being an independent
Growing the
pizzeria.
business. That's right.
Yeah, that's going a lot.
That's right.
How about the customer? So let's talk about the customer. So you're very outgoing that you're using a dough ball and not doing scratch. Do customers comment on that or say, geez, I noticed something different or anything like that? I mean, how do the customers react?
They love it.
Because you're outgoing with what you do.
Yeah. They love it, especially the people from up north that are used to a certain style. We cater to everybody, but me being from New York and a lot of northerners coming down, they look for my pizza because that's what brings them back, right? I'm telling you, every day, somebody will say, it's the crust. It's the crust. It's the crust. And I publicize. I have nothing to hide. I mean, yes, I'm a pizza maker. Yes, I make my own dough. Yes, I know the science of making my own dough. But I'm also a businessman. So at the same time, I need to know what's going to fit good for me, good for the business, help us grow, but also keeping that quality and that consistent product. So I'm not going to say names, but there are a lot of other companies out there that do frozen dough. And I've tried them before I even met you guys. And I don't care if it was 20 cents a dough ball, I would not use it because that's my name on that product that's going out. Yeah. So for me, to have a good quality dough ball that I can stand behind and have it made the way that I make it in my shop, having you guys make it for me and taking that out of it, people love it. People love me saying I'm coming up to New York and getting my New York dough. The people are loving me here right now, working, doing R&D work, perfecting recipes and things like that, because they're going to end up eating it and they're going to be seeing what we're doing all about it. So they actually are excited to come to me because of that. And I think that was a big part of my business model, where when I first started on the food truck, imported dough from New York, shipped in from New
Yeah.
York. People say they bring in the water. People say they bring in dough, this, that, and the other thing. And it's true. It's worked for us. And people really like that they're getting the quality product that they're getting from what they're used to up north down there in South Carolina. So I'm super open about it. I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
It's something I want to do.
And I just thought of it as you were discussing it is custom formulation. So I mean, with 4 locations, or even when you had just your single location, moving to your first brick and mortar, you came and say, hey, I love your dough. I'd like to put my own little signature on it, though, and
Right.
make it my dough. Make it your dough.
Right.
And yours we were responsive to that, and we started to tweak and develop to your recipe. How important was that to you to have your own dough and now start to brand on your own dough, with even just a couple of locations to get it going?
Yeah, super. I mean, that was huge. That was a game changer. When you're able to formulate your dough, which you stand by, and being able to work with a company, especially your size, work with us. That was I gotta tell you, that was probably the most impressive part about the Oreo dough is sitting here, seeing everybody. It's like a family here.
Mm-hmm.
You look at behind that wall and how big the factory is, and how many lines are running, and the size of this company. You would never think that someone like me, out of a truck in Charleston, somebody would put that much effort and care about someone like the little guy,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that was, I mean, I'm a very loyal person, and stuff like that goes a long way for me. And when I was able to come up here and see such a big company, a big name, being in business for over 100 years, and all these good things, worry about Mike in Charleston,
Mm-hmm.
and the formula that I wanted to do and the recipe I wanted to do, and they took the time to do that. That was huge.
Yeah.
That was huge because I was able to get the product that I wanted. It was huge because it showed me the people that you were, and how you really cared about every customer, whether you're getting 5 truckloads or a case of dough. And that's what made me want to continue, working with you guys, because like we talked about, I got big plans. I want to take my dough and put it out on a retail line. I got people coming to buy it already, but it's just in our own plastic bag. I want to slap a label on it. I want to work with you guys in making some pizza, putting our own pizzas out. So it developed from me getting a couple of cases on a food truck to now me looking to do a retail line with you guys, and growing with me, and me actually growing with you guys, that you guys have been around for so long. And I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome.
It's the old saying, hey, I know a guy.
Yeah. And I know a lot of guys.
I know a guy up in New York who can get it done for us.
Yeah.
So that's great.
It's true.
And it's
It really
always
is.
It's worked great all the way through. Back to the customers, and we'll talk about the pizza team pretty soon as well. But back to your customers and you being on cutting edge. One of the things I've seen from everything you do online, social media, I mean, you're right at the front of it. And even being with the pizza team, I think it's pretty awesome that you have that and you have these shops going. What are your customers asking for nowadays? Like, I mean, you're on the front of this thing. I mean, we talked about things like Roman dough or grandma pizza. I mean, these regional things that are kind of coming forward to you. I mean, what do you feel are the biggest things that are out there that your customers are asking for now?
Yeah, so every year it changes depending on the year. Last year, everyone wanted to get into Detroit style pizza. The year before that, hot honey on pepperoni was the thing. So there's a trend every year. This year, a lot of people get into Roman style pizza. It's a hydrated dough, a high hydrated dough, super light, super crispy, super airy. But we're in Charleston. There's no Roman pizzerias out there. They don't know what Roman pizza is. So I try to educate them. And that's why we have 7 styles of pizza in my pizzeria. So I want a customer to come in and say, hey, I want to try something I've never tried before. Great. Try our Roman. Try our Chicago Tavern. Try our Detroit. Try our New York. Try our gluten-free, our cauliflower crust, things like that. So the trend right now that I'm seeing is really big with the Roman and the Pala and the Teglia styles. And it's all because of social media.
Yeah.
People sit home, they scroll, they finger swipe, and they're seeing all this delicious pizza. And my customers want to try something that they've never tried before. They're very curious, which I really like. They had Marco's and Pizza Hut and all that down there. Yeah. National trains. That's all they knew. They were good for, South Carolina. You want barbecue, you want good chicken, you want collards, all that type of stuff. That's what you're getting down there. What you're missing out in New York, you're not getting that good in New York, right? What makes us different is we have slice pies. We have about 10 to 15 pies on the counter. People can come in and grab a slice or two and walk out. So we'll put a Roman style out. We'll put a Detroit style out just for them to taste it and see what it's about. So we're seeing a lot more people look towards more Detroit's, Romans, and the Chicago Tavern is really starting to make another turn for it too. So that's super, super thin, cracker thin, crispy pizza. So
yeah, the ability to give people regions from other regions of the country and supply them with a product that's almost authentic as well, but in
yeah,
your region as well. I think that's
yeah.
pretty cool, and that's really what's trending out there right now. And I continue. I'll see that happening as we go along. I see it, with New Haven style pizza and St. Louis thin crust, and
That's right.
on and on.
Yeah,
So it's pretty cool that you can offer all those things, and you're
yeah.
doing it. I think you said like you made some things here with the same dough ball. I mean, the same one product.
Yes.
You're making what items out of that one product?
Yeah. So the dough that we made here with you is our master dough. The dough that I received from you guys. So from there, we do our Sicilians, our grandmas, our Detroits, our Chicago Tavern, our regular New York, and our gluten-free and Roman. So those five styles we make from one dough ball, our master dough ball.
Yeah.
And the thing about having a master dough ball is if you ferment it properly, if you prepare it properly, if you bake it properly, if you work with it properly, you can get all five styles. It's how you use that dough ball, and that's where the education comes in. But that dough ball is strong enough and flavorful enough to be able to do those five styles. Yeah. So that's what's amazing, because now you don't have to worry about five different doughs, somebody making it, someone screwing it up, something happening. I have that same dough ball that can make all five things.
Well, and I think that, we talked about product formulation and doing it on a smaller scale and customizing it for you. We talked about consistency of that product, and how that impacted, how you move forward in your business. How about labor? I mean, labor has always been a difficult thing, just in general, last several years since COVID particularly. Has frozen dough impacted your labor force where it's like, I'm not afraid, if someone leaves, like you do all your training for someone, you teach them how to make the 5 different doughs 5 different ways,
right?
And then they move on to something, or they move location, that type of situation. But with the frozen dough, though, you can kind of eliminate that requirement that you need these different specialty type bakers, but you're still teaching them how to make pizza,
right?
Do you think those people are learning from you with the frozen dough? You think they're going to move to scratch, or you think they'll probably end up staying in the frozen dough themselves as they move on?
Yeah, I think that our formula is there. Our formula is a secret, if you would. So they don't need to worry about how we're making all of it. But the labor portion of it is, I'm saving on labor costs. It ends up balancing the same of having someone there making it and doing it, coming in early in the morning. So now I'm saving on labor of somebody making it or screwing it up and costing me more money. I'm saving it on the access and the ease of having it just come in, stack it up, let it thaw out and proof, and it's done. So turnaround time is a lot faster in terms of that for training. And for instance, I'm a week from today, actually, I'm opening up our new store.
Yeah.
And I have some of them working at my other stores just to train a little bit and to understand how to work the business and all of that. And I have some that are in high school that can't come out and train yet. So what are they going to do?
Right.
I can have this kid on the first day. All I got to do is open up the bag, put them in the tray.
Sounds easy enough.
Put them in the walk-in, and we're done.
Yeah.
And now my dough is ready 2 days from now.
And then how does that impact, like if you get a sort of a lunch rush or things like that versus, going from scratch? Do you have everything timed out a particular way?
Yeah.
And how do you handle those types of fluctuations when you get somebody who calls up and wants 15 pizzas, 2 hours from now?
So there's 2 things that we can do. One, if you have a walk-in, you shouldn't have a problem, because when you're putting dough in and you're putting in the walk-in, it's slowly fermenting. I can have a dough in there for 4 days, and I can stock it up, and I can pull a little bit earlier if I need to. So if it's a Monday, and Mondays are usually slower, and we have, like you said, someone coming in wanting at 30 pies, and I only took out so many trays for Monday, I can pull from Tuesday's batch, right? Because it's still fermenting. Yeah. It's not at its 72-hour point that I want to get to, but 48 is perfect. I can pull it out.
Right.
So I can pull from there. That's one way of doing it. And then I would just take more dough out to make up for what we lost. So if you have the right cycle, you should always have dough that you can pull to rotate out.
A day or two ahead. And
that's right.
You got plenty of dough to work with.
Now, I didn't always do it that way, because I learned from problems and things that happen, right? So when I first opened, I'll never forget this. My first week of opening, my first day of opening, We took dough out. I didn't know what to expect. We had a line out the door and around the building all day. I sold out. I sold out by like 4
Yeah.
o'clock. Yes. And I was great, but I was mad because I could have made more money, had more dough out, and I had pissed off customers because they
Sure.
wanted pizza. We sold out. What pizzeria sells out, you know? But now what do? I have frozen dough. I can't do anything, so I have to pull out the next day. So there's a trick that I learned from being in the pizza industry and learning from master chefs and whatnot, where there's a way that you could take your frozen dough, thaw it out within 2 hours,
Huh.
and being able to use it. And just from, again, frozen dough is not a new thing. People have used it before, but when you on the pizza team, you're networking, you're talking to pizza masters and things along that nature, you learn and pick up a lot of things. So it was probably a couple months after that I learned this trick, and it worked out great.
How often do you have to use that? Frequently
Never,
or once
not
in a while?
anymore.
Yeah,
That's
just in
it.
case. But you know, just
Now
in
I
case.
know,
is
but
your-
now just in
yeah.
case if there's an emergency, things happen, right? We're in the restaurant industry. My power goes out, my fridge breaks down, all my dough is blown up.
Yeah.
Whether you make it or whether you have it, or things happen, right?
Sure.
I can take that dough ball out, do what I need to do, and I can have that ready within 3 or 4 hours.
Cool.
Which normally it would be a lot. It would be
Right.
next day.
Right.
So to answer your question, as you use it, you should always have dough to rotate through it, and you should always be
That's the
having
key.
dough ready to pull. Yep.
That's a lot about the dough. I want to talk about Mike the chef now, and I also want to talk about the pizza team. So
Sure.
you're saying how you picked up things along the way. That's like, hey, you learn, you live and you learn things, and I'm sure you learned a lot from your cohorts at the pizza with the U.S. Pizza team. Tell us about the U.S. Pizza team. What's that about, and how you factor in that, and how does it impact you on a regular day basis?
Yeah. So the U.S. Pizza team is a group of men and women that are in the pizza industry that have form of pizza experience, whether they're home chefs, food trailers, or own brick and mortar. You have to be asked to be a part of it. So what you look for is qualifications, giving back to the community, working with pizza, knowing how to make pizza and project it properly, doing competitions, coming to different food shows and showing your face. So when you're the right candidate and someone that you want to be on the team, you're asked to come on.
Okay.
But basically, it's a group of men and women that are in the industry that you learn from each other. It's really, really, it's the best thing that I've ever done was to join the U.S. Pizza team. I've met chefs, I've met pizzaiolos that have been in business for 30, 40 plus years. It reminded me back in the day when I started when I was 15, those guys I'm the ones talking to, and it's a family. 2 of my very close friends now came from the U.S. Pizza team. I talk to them every day.
Yeah.
We share recipes with each other. We share ideas and business ideas with each other. If we're struggling or something's going on, we call each other. But we can do that throughout the entire team as well. I'm on the council of the U.S. Pizza team, so it's me and several others, and we help bring new members on and vote for certain things to better the team and whatnot. And what's really nice about it is somebody on your team has probably struggled or went through something that you might have not yet, that you can now pick their brain, talk to them, and they can tell you how to handle it, or tell you how to work with recipes, or hey, this really worked for me during this holiday. Why don't you try it? So it's like having a network group of professionals, but at the same time having a family. And we travel around the country, we travel around the world, and we compete.
Yeah.
So the Pizza Expo, the big pizza competitions, we'll compete in there. We have our own competitions in Orlando and in LA. We compete. We'll go overseas to Italy and compete. So last year I went to Rimini with I want to say 6 members, and we competed on a world food show. It was probably like 3 or 4 pizza expos put in one. It was huge.
Yeah.
And that we're going up against Italy and France and Japan and Germany and Netherlands, and all these people from in Europe are coming to this competition. It's really cool. And that experience alone is just, you see ingredients that are being used that you never think of. You see just everything so fresh and clean and good, and it just makes you like really expand your pizza knowledge and skill when you're doing things like this. So this year I'm actually going to Parma, Italy to compete, and I'm actually going to be representing the D'Orio dough there.
So the confidence level, we want to talk about confidence level in a product that, you're going to go to an international competition.
Yeah.
And you're going to bring dough balls.
I am.
Frozen dough balls.
Yeah.
And you're you're good to go with that.
Yep, done
Awesome.
it plenty of times.
That's all needs to be said at that point.
And I've placed, and
Yeah.
I won third place in pan.
Yeah.
I got fifth best cheese pizza last year. Again, it's the days of having to have a Hobart mixer, having to have a spiral maker, having to make the dough in your facility are over, in my opinion. You can still have a good quality dough ball, whether it's made here or off premise, freeze it, and as long as you're throwing it out and proofing it the right way, it's as if you made it that same day. And I think it's hard to change bad habits.
Yeah.
But once they do and they realize it, they should have done it earlier.
And geez, I think you even taught somebody on your team from your pizzeria won a competition a few months back
Bella.
as well. Yes. And how old is Bella? 17?
Bella started with me when she was 15 years old.
Okay.
She was a counter girl, and then she wanted to learn how to make pizza. We taught her how to make pizza, and then she developed into a pizza maker. Now she's my Friday night pizza girl, pushing out 200 pies a night.
Yeah.
Like she's probably better at me than at this point. And yeah, we're not going to tell her that.
Well, maybe not. Well, I want to see her.
But yeah, all the kids that work for me, I have a kid named Ezra, Trey. They're all 17, 18-year-old kids that want to learn how to make pizza.
Yeah.
And we teach in-house. We teach our employees that want to learn how to make pizza to be pizza holders. And we took it to LA and the Young Pizza Maker competition. And she made a pizza called the Chica Fajita pizza.
Okay.
And she got first place in the Junior Young Pizza Maker competition, all the way in Los Angeles, and LA. And it's what we did. Yeah. We had our dough that we make, your dough that you give to me, that we've made here. We flew with it frozen because we wanted to cold ferment and everything when we got there. So it traveled really well.
You gotta teach me how to do that.
And we put our dough in our mini fridges in the hotel room, and we let it sit for a couple of days. We let it ferment, let it cold ferment, let it proof, and it came out
the confidence
excellent.
You gotta have to do all that and the durability of the product to kind of make it through that.
Yeah.
And at the other end, say, I'm going into competition. This is what I'm going in with. That's pretty cool.
Well, why not? It's the formulator that we worked on. It's the recipe that we wanted. Whether I make it in my shop or here, it's the same. The only difference is you guys are helping with the convenience of having you guys make it, boil it, freeze it, and bring it out on a consistent level. Everything's the same. Yeah. It's just my hands aren't in it. That's the only difference. Yeah. So why not do it? You're foolish not to.
You're right. You know? You won best pizza in the city too, right?
Charleston.
What other awards have you won?
Yeah, we won.
I think you're lining them up now.
A couple here and there, but we got best pizzeria, Charleston's Choice, 2025. So last year, which was really cool. We've got third place in pan pizza, first place in traditional sauce. We got fourth place in Italy, Parma, Italy, in pizza and wine. Me and my friend Rico, who's on the team as well, and some other awards that we've won. But we've always showcased, quality products no matter where we went, and we never really adjusted much. The only time I really make dough is if I'm doing something crazy and out of the ordinary, where I want to be a scientist and figure it out and really mess around with dough. Because I love making dough. Sure. It's a science. It's fun. You can be creative with it. It's making breads like we did before. But again, as a businessman, there's no better than having something come every single time consistently. And having it easy for your employees to make work in the environment, to not have any mistakes, really. Yeah, I mean, we won a bunch of awards. Tyson Award, Tyson Foods. Yeah. We won second place in that at the countrywide of top give. It was the Give Back Award for community service, and went out with pizza and whatnot. So, but again, they're just accolades, right?
Yeah.
And
it's more than just accolades.
Yeah,
there's a lot of work behind that.
There's a lot of work behind it, but I'm not the type of person to say, "Oh, look at me." But am I proud about it? Yes. Am my employees proud about it? Yes. Am I proud that my employees are part of it and
That's awesome.
That's even better,
especially at the
right?
age. Yeah, the young age.
Yeah. It's really awesome. She's in cosmetology school. Yeah. Doing all that, and she's still making pizza, and she loves it. I mean, what girl at her age wants to do that? And it's cool because I always said that pizza is a universal language. You can get pizza anywhere in the world, and people love pizza. Whether you're in Japan, Europe, South Africa, here
Might
in the
have some
States.
different toppings on it.
Right. But pizza is just universal language, and everyone loves it. And it's just one of those things that pizza brings happiness together and brings back a memory together, and that's what we try to create.
Okay.
And yeah.
So with the U.S. Pizza team, if someone wants to know more about that or how to get onto the team or know about where they go to, just go to the website.
You go to uspizzateam.com.
Okay.
It's with PMQ Magazine. You can put in an application, and then you put your accolades or your time in business or your years of making pizza and just a little bio about yourself. It usually comes to me.
Oh, okay.
I'll get an email, and I'll say, "Oh, there's a new recipient wanting to join the team," or comes to another person on the council, and we read it over, see what they're about, and we can have somebody that's won a tremendous amount of awards and first place to this and first place that, but just have a real shitty attitude, and not be nice and not be good for the community, and not be very boisterous about themselves and things like that. You're not gonna come on the team. We want team players. We want humble people. We want people that give back to the community and help out, and that are part of this family. So you don't have to be the best person around. You have to be somebody that is caring and loves the business, loves the industry,
outgoing, and wants to spread the word.
That's right. That's right.
Awesome.
Because that's what pizza is all about.
Yeah.
It should be. It should be a community of everyone working together and talking over a slice.
Yeah. Should have had a slice.
Yeah. We should have.
We'll get one right after this. I think you're gonna make some stuff for us today. It's gonna be
we're gonna
try that one. It's pizza day. So.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun stuff in about an hour. Yeah.
So the pizza team, we talk about pizza, straight up pizza. How about other types of pizzas? What is the word on the street, or what are your feelings, or the pizza team on things like organic dough or gluten free or keto, or pizza is not just the regular pizza. It goes in a lot of different directions. What are your thoughts on those types of things? Do you do anything like that, or?
Yeah, so I think it's very creative and fun to do stuff like that, especially during competitions or certain vertical markets that you're in. You're in a brewery. It'd be cool to have a really cool brewery style dough.
Yeah.
If you're in a certain area where you might be a vegan or gluten intolerant and things like that, gluten free, soy based dough, stuff like that. I think that it really depends on the vertical that you're in and what your customers want.
Right.
For instance, we have cauliflower dough for people that can't have gluten. They have cauliflower. It sells like crazy. They love it. I like to experiment when I'm making dough. Again, this is when I make dough where I can throw in some stuff in there like cheddar jalapeno or something like that, and have fun making dough. Make your own dough. So I think it's more artisanal with dough like that. Like if you're in a brewery, if you're in like an artisanal restaurant and want to do a special, you'll find some cool creative things like that. But I think just your regular standard style pizzeria, you're not going to find a lot of that unless there's something wild going on. Multi-grain, whole wheat, and things like that. I think that's a lot of people do talk about that.
Sure.
And I can tell you, it's harder to make. Sure. It's harder to make. So if you can buy it and it works well, now you have a whole different, which I'm going to actually talk to you about because now you have my head spinning. Because certain flours are hard to work with other flours. Yeah. So if you don't have that recipe down right, it's not going to come out good. Then you're just wasting your time on your product. But if you can get something like I'm getting in a dough bowl in a whole wheat style or something like that and proof it out, it's a home run.
We have a lot of places, they may say, I want to make my own dough, but the ancillary doughs, the gluten-free items or some other items that customers ask for, which is almost a requirement at this level, from something that was an option to have, that you really need to have some of these other items on there.
Yeah.
So maybe if you're making your own dough, maybe there's room for ancillary items. So we provide a lot of the ancillaries that go along with the main dough. Just like you said, less ingredients you have to carry on hand.
Yes.
Different types of flours, and then if you don't sell enough of it, then you have to worry about going bad over time. Those types of things. So those are things to consider.
Yeah, it's huge. You pull what you need to use. Yeah. That's the greatest part about it.
Yeah.
The shelf life on it is long if you're keeping it frozen. So if I don't think I'm selling a lot of the gluten free or red bean or things like that I need for a crust, then I can just pull 3 out, 4 out.
Temperature controlled and it's 90 degrees out, especially down in the Carolinas, and you got 20 bags of flour been sitting there for a while, so that's important too.
That's right.
So we didn't mention that. All right, about Mike now, Chef Mike.
Yeah.
What was the first pizza you ever made?
Cheese pizza.
That's it. Plain cheese pizza.
Plain cheese
So what
pizza.
place did you make that at? Like you said you were on the
Yeah,
island.
yeah.
And you remember making it? And
Yes, I do.
Did you remember who tried it and what the reaction was?
I know all about it. He's gonna watch this and he's gonna text me because he actually worked the booth last year with us.
Oh, really?
John.
Cool. Yes. Yeah.
John
Yep.
Raimondi. Yes.
Yep.
I worked at my first shop. I was working at Our Little Italy in West Islip. It was my friend John's father's place, and we were cleaning dishes. I think I was just started driving. I was 16, at the time, or 15 with my permit. I was still driving when I shouldn't have, and I was delivering pizzas. And then I worked in there a little bit, doing stuff behind the scenes. And then I worked at John's place in West Islip also, which is a couple streets down from there, because my friend's father sold. So I went to go work for John. And that's where it really all started. That's where I wasn't a delivery driver. I wasn't working in the back kitchen. I was a counter guy.
Front, yeah.
Yeah. Learning how to cut pizza, Friday night, grabbing orders, doing everything, portioning out salad dressings, all that stuff behind the counter. That was called Cafe Europa.
Yeah. What a good feeling though. It's like once
Awesome.
you got it down pat and
Yeah.
people are coming in and they're eating your pizza and they say something good. Like the first person who said something good about a pizza that you made.
Yeah.
Oh, good feeling.
I still do that.
Yeah.
You ever see like all those memes or whatever online when somebody's making something, you're staring to see their reaction?
Yeah.
I always do that still. But yeah, it was there, and that's where I learned how to make pizza. The pizza maker would, hey, Mike, come over here. Let me show you.
Yeah.
And I would show you how to press, and it wasn't. I mean, I remember the first pizza. It was super thin and floppy, and it wasn't a circle.
Best pizza ever.
Yeah, but it was because I was so proud of it that I actually put something together and made a pizza. And it was just more and more. Usually, I would just practice during the slow times of the day, making pizza, and I'll never forget that. I mean, I remember everything about the shop, what it looks like, how it was set up, where I had to go. I mean, it's always distilled in me. It is.
When I go into not just a pizza place, but I go a lot of places, and I'm sure it drives the people who work there crazy. But I'll say, what would you get? I tell it to the worker there because they know what's in back, they know what's the fresh stuff, they know the good stuff. What would Mike put on his pizza?
Grandma.
Yeah, grandma style.
Just grandma style pizza.
Just straight up, though.
Straight up grandma is my favorite pizza.
Yeah.
Just the mozzarella cheese with the marinara sauce, the garlic and oil and basil with the pecorino romano.
Keep it simple.
That's it.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, here it is.
This one, I tried this one before. That one's amazing.
That's my grandma.
And there was the fresh basil. It's like it's so underrated when you put some fresh basil on there, man. That's the good stuff. It's still, and it's cold. It's been sitting there for a while, which it's even tasting better because it melds cold together.
It's floppy. It's been sitting on the counter, but it's good.
Yeah.
So
it's a nice little sauce too. I cheated too. I was watching you make that sauce.
Yeah. We're known for our sauce.
Pretty good. Yeah, squeeze the plum tomatoes.
But grandma is just, even today, I tell my customers, what should I try?
Yeah.
Everyone should try a cheese pizza. No matter where you go, what pizzeria, try their regular cheese. That's first. But I always go right to the grandma. That's my favorite pizza. Yeah.
All right, last question, unless we have more to talk about. But right now it's what advice would you give somebody just starting out? What advice would you give somebody who was you 5 years ago that was grinding it out? They got a pizzeria, just started kind of into it, or they have a food truck or something like that. What kind of advice do you give them straight up? Maybe about frozen dough or just in general. What advice do you have?
This question's asked a lot because of my history and because of what I went through and just how I grew to where we are today. I think that without the risk, I would never be here today. Without, if you have a passion of something, it's something you really want to do, don't let anybody tell you can't do it. Don't let anything stop you. Figure out a way to do it and run with it, because I know it's cliche, but it's the truth. I was working at Xerox on a 6-figure salary, working Monday through Friday from 9 to 5.
I guess that would be my last question then. What my real last question would be is, what would you be doing if you weren't doing pizza?
I'd be there. I'd be waking up every morning. I probably wouldn't be in South Carolina. I'd probably be still a suit and tie and just kissing butts and trying to close deals, And, I wasn't happy. I was happy with the money, but I call them the golden handcuffs. You're happy with the money, but you're locked into a place you don't want to be, right? So I just think that for anyone that's looking to start any business, you have to work hard, but follow your passion, follow what you really want to do. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't do it, and figure out ways that you can do it to be efficient and to work smarter and not harder, And one of those smart things was linking up with you guys and having my dough made, because now that is out of the equation, and now I can concentrate on everything I else need to do to grow the business. And you guys are a real big part of that.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, one last thing, we'll be the Pizza Expo is coming up, the annual Pizza Expo, in March 24th through 26th, I think, in Vegas. So anybody looking to go there, they're going to see you there. Not only in the competitions, though, you're going to hang out with us a little bit.
Yes.
Booth number, I think it's 801.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I can't wait to watch you in the competition. What competitions are you entered in?
Yeah, so we're going to do traditional. We're going to be doing best cheese and sandwich.
Yeah.
Sandwich, yeah. So that's going to be fun.
I think you need to practice with me. I can give you some feedback.
Well, the sandwich we're making here.
All right, that's good.
Yeah, so the bread that I made and whatnot, so what I'm doing is going to be here.
Just in time.
So we're going to eat that in about an hour.
Man.
Yeah,
So, Mike, when we talk about the pizza team, and aside from that, though, you do some teaching, right? You're like Professor Chef Mike.
Yeah.
Tell me about Pizza University. Is in Baltimore or something like that?
Yeah, so Mara Forney Ovens, who's been around for a very long time, they have an amazing oven. Started, I believe, I want to say it was 10 years ago. I could be wrong. Pizza University. Mm-hmm. They actually have a university in their warehouse where they make the ovens, and holds about 10 to 20, 25 students. And the students could be anyone. It could be a home chef. It could be pizzeria owners. It could be somebody that wants to get into pizza. And what's really cool about Pizza University is they have all different classes. They have entry level, how to get into pizza. They have experience level where you have pizzerias, you want to learn how to make Roman pizza. So there's all different categories, different lesson plans. It's ran by Leo, Chef Leo, if you ever seen him online.
I think so.
You'll see him on YouTube and all that. He's the big face of the business. Amazing instructor, amazing chef. And I had the opportunity of helping them grow and teach a few classes. I'm actually doing one with Vito in March for Roman dough. So we'll be doing another class. I just got out of one a couple weeks ago. But yeah, we're just instructors, and we're going to be teaching the craft. And
how far do people come from? They come from other countries?
Yeah, well, we had someone that came from Vegas this past trip in February. We had somebody from Las Vegas that came. We had a lot of people from New York. We had, I think, Minnesota. We have people that travel for it. Yeah, they travel.
Those ovens are made in the U.S.
Yes. So the ovens are made there.
Oh,
yep.
Wow.
And the stone is from Mount Vesuvius.
Oh, cool.
So they actually take the rock, the ash, and they make the actual baking stone on it. It's ran by two Italian guys, Enzo and Francesco Mara. They're just like you and your business. They're family oriented. Sure. They care for one another. And they want to make good pizza men and pizza women. So they started this Pizza University, and it's really cool. It's, there are classes from how to start in a food truck to how to just make dough to how to make New York style or Detroit style. So there's all these lessons each month, and whichever lesson you want to learn, you sign up for it.
So how does someone sign up for it? Is that, I'm sure it's a website.
Yeah, you go to Pizza University. I think it's .org or pizzauniversity.com, and then you'll see the calendar of all the lessons that they're providing, and you just click which one you want. And usually it's a 2 or 3 day class. Yeah. But it's in a beautiful kitchen. You have all the professional ovens there. You have seating. You have a whole workbook with recipes and everything of the lesson plan. Cool. And you're actually in class. Yeah. And you're hands-on. You're teaching and you're learning. And
so is the class like a whole day or 2 days? Or depends
depending on the style of pizza and what the lesson plan is. Yeah. Usually it's 2 to 3 days. But it's not like you're sitting, watching
your
videos.
Hands are in the dough.
Listen, you're in there doing everything. So, it's fun. And it's cool to be able to spread that knowledge and meet people from around the world, too, on pizza. So it's cool.
Chef Mike, Professor Chef Mike, however it goes.
Just Mike. Awesome. That's it.
Okay. Mike, appreciate you. Appreciate everything you do, man.
Thanks for everything.
Take care of yourself. Good luck with everything.
Appreciate you.